Recently, I kind of had a wake-up moment with 3D printing. Not everyone wants to dig into stuff the way that I do. For instance, recently I was at a friend's place and he has multiple 3D printers, but when I right-clicked on a model he'd made, and well, then I started going through some of the options down there, his jaw actually dropped. Now, he's a total tech guy and he has used Clone and a few other tools before, but somehow he never really explored the rest of it. So if you've missed it or just skipped it because it all looks confusing, today's the day. It's time to unlock your slicer's right-click power tools. I think it's safe to say that most of us at home are using either PrusaSlicer, Bambu Studio, or Orca Slicer in our 3D print labs. Now, I went through all three, and while there are some little differences, they all work pretty much the same, and that makes sense since they're kind of based on each other. PrusaSlicer gives you the least right-click options, right at the beginning, although it does let you add text, which is really nice. Orca Slicer also has text, but there's way more you can add at the beginning, and it feels really close to Bambu Studio. Most of the commands and options behave almost exactly the same across all three slicers, and I'll shout out any differences as we go, but to keep things simple and not turn this into a 3-hour documentary, I'm going to stick to Orca Slicer and let you see what you've been missing. Getting started, we need to right-click on the build plate, and there you get your first set of options. Now this is where you can start by adding a primitive, and that's a basic shape. Most of these shapes you already know, except maybe a torus, which is basically a donut. And now I'm hungry. Donuts! If you add text to your build plate, you're going to see the letters aren't really joined together, at least some of them, so they'll print as individual parts. And that might be why Bambu Studio doesn't give you the text up front like this. You can join this text together with other parts later, so that's totally your call. SVG lets you import a graphic and turn it into a 3D print. If you want a full video on that and other things, well, tell me in the comments and I'll cook something up. Back to the main menu, you're going to see Add Handy Models. Now this lets you drop in some Orca specific test models, plus the infamous Benchy and some others. So instead of hunting them down online, you can just pull up a bunch of tests with a simple right click. Bambu Studio also has some similar built-in tests, and also including Benchy. PrusaSlicer goes kind of a different route with a gallery button that has Benchy and some extra model add-ons. But here you can even add your own models to that gallery for you to use later without trying to track it down. This is one feature I'd love to see show up in Bambu and Orca Slicer. Our right-click power tools really don't come into play until we add an object to the build plate though. Just add a primitive cube and right-click on it. Suddenly, options everywhere. Here's a quick rundown of a few of the main ones there at the top before we get to those power tools. A few that you probably should know. Now, clone equals multiply, and that obviously adds more copies of your object. Fix model allows you to repair holes and weird mesh issues in there. Simplify allows you to reduce the detail level if your model is super complex. So if your computer starts to slow to a crawl and maybe sounds like it's about to take off when you're slicing, well, you probably need to simplify a few things in the model and, well, maybe get a new computer. More power. For now, some options are still grayed out, like Mesh Boolean, but we're going to look at that one later, so stick around. Then there's Add Part, which looks suspiciously familiar, and that's because it's basically the same as Add Primitive. And yeah, it does the same thing, just in case you needed another way to add more parts to your build plate. And finally, it's time to see the actual right-click power tools. Using the cube that we added earlier, we're going to get to see our first right-click power tool, Add Negative Part. You're going to see the same primitives as Add Part, plus an option to load a model. But everything you add here becomes a negative modifier, and that means it'll cut away from your main model when you slice. For example, add a negative sphere to your build plate. You're going to see a semi-transparent ball appear with a little reminder that you can edit this under the Objects tab, just like any normal positive part. Move the negative sphere so it kind of overlaps the cube, maybe about halfway. It's not going to look all that impressive yet, but when you slice it, boom, you just carved a ball-sized chunk out of your cube. Negative parts can be insanely powerful, so you're definitely going to want to play around with them. Negative parts are great for cutting, but the next menu item, Add Modifier, well, this is where you can really start doing some magic. Let's say you want one edge of your cube to have fuzzy skin and the rest of it to be plain, and maybe just to make it easier to grip when you print it. So add a modifier, and let's pick Cube and resize it maybe a little smaller. Then move it so it overlaps only the area you want textured. With the modifier selected, go to your Objects menu, and then go to the Others menu and go down to Select Fuzzy Skin. Change it to Contour for now, and this way it only hits the outer wall. When you slice your model, and bam, one fuzzy part on it the same size as your modified cube. Also, while Orca Slicer now lets you paint on fuzzy skin, using a modifier like this, well, it gives you laser precise control. You can go a little crazy with this and get some really cool effects using other shapes like the torus, and well, it's not just about fuzzy skin. Again, with your modifier selected, check the Edit options under the Objects tab. Now, all these settings are available, but only in the area where the modifier overlaps your model, like we saw with fuzzy skin. And that means you can change line width and more in just that area. One great example is infill. I'm going to add a torus and make that a modifier, still selected, and let's overlap the cube. Set infill to zigzag 50% just so it looks different from the original. And when you slice, the part where the torus intersects the cube has a zigzag infill, while that cube's original crosshatch or whatever you're using, it stays more open and honeycomb-like. Most of us are going to use this for walls and infill, maybe fuzzy, and especially to strengthen articulated joints, hinges, and other moving parts. You know, for instance, if you have a tall part that just really loves to break at the base, well, you can modify that area and beef it up. The next two right-click options are basically opposites. Add Support Blocker and Add Support Enforcer. And they use the same primitives as before, or you can drop in your own model. I've already added a design with an overhang to show you what they can do. Now, normally when you turn on supports and slice, well, that top square is going to get supports underneath. But what if for some reason you just don't want supports there? Add a support blocker, choose a cube, and scale it so it covers the area under your square, the overhang, and move it up a little bit so that it covers the whole area. Now, even with supports turned on, when you slice, that part doesn't get supports. You can resize it for whatever you're working on and block supports exactly where you don't want them. Support Enforcer is the flip side of this. It forces supports to go where you do want them. Sometimes, well, you just want that peace of mind knowing it's supported.
I need your support.
Here's a cube that I rotated 45 degrees with supports turned on. The slicer automatically supports the base, but maybe you want more. So just add a support enforcer to the side, resize it, move it up where you want extra help, and slice again. Now you get those supports right where you told it to put them. It's similar to support painting, but with primitives or even your own models for extra precision. Speaking of supports, if you want to support this channel, you can subscribe and share this video with someone who you think might enjoy this info. Thanks. The next right-click power tool is one I've honestly ignored way too long, even though it probably would have made my life a lot easier, and that's Height Range Modifier. It looks similar to Add Modifier, but instead of dropping in a primitive, it controls settings based on the height in your model. When you add a height range modifier, your Objects tab opens and you're going to see a new height range option. These are the layers of your model. 0 is the bottom, but you can set any starting point you want, and that's where the real magic begins. The second number is the ending height for the change you're about to make. The easiest way for me to show you this is to have it remove walls and infill in the middle of the model. Now my cube is 22 millimeters tall, so I'm going to set the bottom of the range to 10 and the top to 15. Then I'll just set the walls and infill to 0, which means only the layers between 10 and 15 are affected. So when I slice, I've basically deleted the middle of my cube. Now that you see how it works, I'll turn infill back on, but leave the walls at 0 so we can get a really crazy look at that infill structure. Just like Add Modifier, you can use this to target weak areas, change your print or travel speed, tweak bridging, or even set up multi-material zones, all by height. I mentioned this last right-click power tool earlier, and it's near the top of the right-click menu, Mesh Boolean. Now, it's been grayed out for most of this video because it really only works when you have multiple objects. Most of us already know about merging objects together or assembly in Orca Slicer, and Orca actually makes you assemble the parts first before Mesh Boolean even shows up in the right-click menu. And that's probably the smart way to do it in your other slicers as well. Once you're using Mesh Boolean, you can do some really crazy things. You can merge everything into a single object with no separate parts, or you can even keep only the overlapping parts. There are a couple of issues though. First, PrusaSlicer doesn't have this command at all. They want you to use negative modifiers instead. Second, in Bambu Studio and Orca, if you just right-click and choose Mesh Boolean, it defaults to merging them into one object. So to really unlock this tool, you're going to need to select your objects and then click the Mesh Boolean icon up on your top menu. At this point, it's not technically a right-click power tool anymore, but I think it's still worth knowing how it works. So with your object selected, click the Mesh Boolean icon at the top, and now you're going to see three options: union, difference or subtraction in Bambu, and intersection. Union, as I mentioned, is the default right-click option, and it merges overlapping objects into a single solid object. No more separate parts. Difference or subtraction, it cuts one object out of the other. This is awesome for making exact holes, cutouts, and custom joints. Intersection is kind of the opposite of difference. It keeps only the area where the two parts overlap and then deletes everything else. It may take you a few tries to understand all of it, but when you get it, Mesh Boolean is super powerful. You can start with the right-click menu, but the real power comes from knowing when and which option to use. Okay, there you go. 6 right-click power tools you can use to make your slicer and your 3D prints do exactly what you want, exactly where you want. Are there other slicer tools you would like to see me dig into? Well, let me know in the comments, and let's keep having fun with 3D printing as we learn, create, and amaze.